Hello there. This is about the Karen Reed case and this so-called expert who is, of course, changing their story of the Fit app that John O'Keefe said that he had walked and gone up and downstairs. Not just upstairs, but downstairs. So he was going up and downstairs, then stopped, then walked a certain amount of feet, walked a few more, and then that was it. So there's some things that's not been discussed in the last trial and in this trial that I have mentioned before in my coverage of this case. That is what I coin as the Android iPhone drift variance. Meaning, if you've ever paid attention, your computer, whether it's a Mac or if it's Windows, your Android device and your iPhone may all have different times. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever wondered, why is my phone different time from my computer? Or why, if you see your Android, has a different time from your iPhone? These things are important because when you have phones that are being evaluated and being used as evidence in a trial, a difference of built-up time that could equal 3 minutes or more is very important. So I'm going to share with you the thing that I call the drift. So here is a simple explanation. Why is the time shown on the clock different between Android, iPhone, and Windows? For example, the Android phone can be 10 a.m., but my iPhone will show 9:58, and my Windows PC will show 9:57. So that is a difference of 3 minutes. So why is that? Don't all these devices get the time from a server? Are they all different servers? If so, why the slight differences? Which one's the most accurate? The iPhone, since Apple said the watch is accurate, is something like 0.15 seconds or something. Then why the iPhone can't use the same server the watch does for the time? They're both running the same code. So here is an example of the answer about that. So it depends on how often the device resyncs and at what rate the device loses or gains times. In the United States, you can manually check on time.gov or tune into shortwave radio time broadcasts. Most devices get their time from the same place, pool.ntp.org. The idea behind this is that if all the time servers, the NTP servers, are part of this server pool, then time requests can be balanced equally around servers, and the servers can all be synchronized. But any internet-capable device can request a time from NTP servers. In the past, companies would add in time synced as a REST feature and then ship the device to the customers. A famous example is a model of router that would request the time every 5 minutes from poolntp.org, flooding the servers with requests. So, to avoid this, they recommend to device manufacturers minimum time limits between server calls. This means, in a practice, a device may only check the time online every few hours, maybe up to a day. This allows for a small amount of error to build up every day. So let's assume your Android phone time drifts at a rate of 2 seconds per hour backwards, and your iPhone drifts at a rate of 2 seconds per hour forward. So at this rate, every hour the clocks separate by 4 seconds. So at this rate, it will take 16 hours for a drift of 1 minute and 4 seconds to build up, enough to allow the clocks to display a time 2 minutes apart. This is compounded by the fact that certain devices don't go online much. So people with iPhones who switch off the mobile data unless they're specifically trying to go online because it drains the battery so fast, pretty reasonable for them to leave mobile data off for hours on end, allowing their device clock to synchronize. So if there's a difference of even a minute or 2 minutes in the time of which he is declaring that she's been driving around and, stopping or whatever, it's not adding up, in addition to the fact that they had driven through various neighborhoods, and there's no explanation whatsoever of why through that entire ride it didn't say that he was moving. He was stationary until they get to that house. And my point is, the man is lying. But let's talk about the sensors on that particular app. It's ridiculous for them to saying that it doesn't know the difference between walking and going upstairs or riding in a car. The sensors are far more advanced to that. Steps, flight of stairs, and other walking data. The built-in sensors on your iPhone capture the number of steps you take using specific sensors, and they do know the difference between walking. And here is how. Your iPhone measures inertia through a combination of its accelerometer, a gyroscope, and a compass to count the steps you take. So it can tell the difference between walking and driving. These work in tandem with your phone's processor to track your steps also while the phone is asleep. So this guy saying that the time that the Fit app, which is going by the specific phone clock, not a Waze app. Waze's app has its own clock, but the phone's device's clock states the time that he was walking. And there can be a variance there and no other time while he was stationary in her car, which is why in the last trial, because none of the things they tried to suggest that him going up and downstairs is what the expert stated, not just going upstairs, but going downstairs, going up and downstairs. And then after going up and downstairs, stopped, and then walked a few more steps, and then that was it. So walked over 85 feet, then went up and downstairs for a period of time, stopped, then walked. So they tried to explain that away, if you watched the last trial, by suggesting that when she hit him with her car, he flew upwards, that like it threw him. And that was so ridiculous. Of course the jury didn't buy that. So now they're just trying another whole story that just forget the sensors. I mean, it's just ridiculous what they're trying to pass off as science. Not to forget the fact that when it comes to any kind of app that uses GPS, there is a 50-foot variance, and that's actually legally in court that you can argue. Let's say, for example, if you're arguing over GPS over properties, have you ever gone up to an intersection when you're traveling using a navigator app and it's telling you have 100 feet to go, but you're like 5 feet from the corner, and then as soon as you get to the corner, it tells you, oh, you've got 50 feet to go. Those things have a huge variance when it comes to feet. It's not an accurate size to use the Waze app. Also, in the very record that he is presenting, if you looked at the fine print on the documents that they were presenting in their pictures in this particular trial, it shows that there is a 5-minute variance and a 16-foot variance. But yet they're trying to present it like it's total accuracy. That's what's very problematic. 5-minute variance? Are you kidding me? Do you know how much what can happen in 5 minutes? By the time that she had pulled up and stopped, by the way, he's contradicting all of the state's testimony from the last trial of when she pulled up, when she stopped, when they saw her. And so basically, she had stopped. He had got out of the car based on, don't forget, the EDR data that one state trooper presented. If you're going and paying attention to all the things they testified in the past, everything this guy presented was extremely contradictory, right? But of course, that's pretty consistent with this particular case, with one witness contradicting the other. Take, for example, the recent testimony of Kerry Roberts, totally contradicting McNutter, I think his name is, on the EMT, and he said when he arrived on the scene that John O'Keefe had raccoon eyes, meaning that it had already set in from his skull fracture that he had raccoon eyes, and battle signs is what they called it. Yet, according to Carrie Roberts, she contradicted him, saying there was no raccoon sign, that he didn't even have black eyes. She basically contradicted him. She did admit to lying, of course, in the grand jury when she said that she heard Karen Reed tell Jen McCabe to Google something. And strangely, she Googled it not once, not twice, but 3 times. And it doesn't even matter, really, it does, but the time that she alleges that she Googled it 3 times. And then they insisted to a grand jury and got an indictment based on her saying that she heard her say that. And she just admitted last week that, oh no, she never heard her say that. Anyways, stay tuned for more inconsistencies from the case of Karen Reed, presented by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.